Coming up in court today.
He gave me power of attorney. We have worked together for the last 20 years. I know.
In the court system, justice is not always just. That's why they bring their disputes here. Real people, real problems, real justice. Justice is eye for an eye.
Plaintiff is suing daughter to revoke power of attorney. Plaintiff claims she has sold his property without consent. Defendant claims he needs to sell some houses to pay for his medical expenses and that she is just looking out for his well-being.
I'm Richard Grubner, and I'm suing my daughter to remove power of attorney because she's really done some terrible things while I was away. And I really need to get my life back in order and have this power of attorney removed.
I'm Frances Grubner. I'm here because my father's trying to revoke a power of attorney that he gave me to sell property. I sold 2 properties. I have 2 more properties pending sale. He's been in Mexico having experimental cancer treatments. He could use the money to pay for these treatments, but no, he is insisting that these properties were sold under value and that I do not have the right with the power of attorney to make business decisions for a business that we have been in together for the last however many years.
All right, Mr. Richard Grubner, you are suing your daughter, Frances Grubner, to remove a power of attorney and for the money for the house she sold of yours. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about what happened.
Well, about 5 months ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I've worked hard all my life. You know, I built up a real estate business, built it up from scratch for 50 years. And I'm retired now, and I'm trying to live off the money that I've invested in these properties. Anyway, they couldn't treat the cancer here in this country, so I had to go to Mexico for an experimental treatment. And I was gone for 3 months, and I had to give my daughter power of attorney. Somebody had to take care of it. She has been working with me.
It was complete power of attorney. She could do whatever she wants. She could sell your assets.
I really thought I could trust her, but this is situation here is terrible. I got back about a week or so ago. And on the way from the airport, driving in, I see 2 of my houses up for sale. And I didn't tell her to sell them.
And how long were you gone in Mexico?
3 months.
For 3 months?
3 months.
Okay, ma'am,
Not only that, Your Honor, but I find out that she's already sold 2 houses, and she sold them at a price that was ridiculous. And I need this money to live on. So
how many houses did you have?
I had about 100.
100 houses?
Yeah.
And she has sold 2 of them?
She sold 2 of them, and the others are not really great. They're in bad neighborhoods. I need this money. I needed the money from those 2 houses to live on, the rental.
How much did she sell the houses for?
$50,000, and they were worth probably twice that at least.
Did she give you the money?
No, she kept the money.
She kept the money. All right. Ms. Grubner, your father's saying that when he went off to Mexico, you got what's called the complete power of attorney, which gave you authority to take control of his assets, and that you took advantage of that and sold 2 of his houses, has pocketed the money, and he wants to revoke that power of attorney and you to give him the money. What do you got to say?
Well, first of all, he gave me power of attorney. We have worked together for the last 20 years. I know these properties. I know what the real estate market is right now. One of them, I had a home inspection on, found out that the kitchen sink was draining into the storm sewer, not into the septic system. One had a structural problem underneath the house. They needed to be sold. They perhaps needed to be sold while he was not actually signing the papers and the disclosure forms. He doesn't really quite understand that.
Well, the problem is you sold them, but you've pocketed the money. I mean, how come you haven't given the money to your father?
Now, that's not quite accurate. I didn't pocket the money. The money is actually in a joint bank account that he established.
Well, I don't know anything about that. You never told me that.
Well, you never asked.
Well, the problem, sir, it doesn't matter if it's in a joint banking account, which she's trying to use a loophole here, because you can't sign your name. You gave her a power of attorney. You have no power to sign your name. So that's just a technicality saying it's in a joint checking account. With you having the power of attorney, you could go wipe that money out and he can't do one thing because you can sign his name to the checking account. That's what the power of attorney is. So is that money in there, or have you spent it?
No, I haven't spent it, and he hasn't. I could also sign a check right over to him, couldn't I?
Well, why haven't you done it? Why has he had to bring you to court to do this? Sir, has she offered to give you the money?
No, and I've talked to her several times before, and she never said a word about it. I didn't know anything about this.
That's because when you came back from Mexico, you wouldn't listen to one word. You were so
That's
upset
not
that those
true.
two, excuse me, are you listening to me now, or are you interrupting me?
You know, I raised you, and I brought you up, and I gave you everything that you could have, and now you're doing this to me? That's a terrible thing for a daughter to do to her father.
You went to have these treatments. You needed the money. You needed the money for this. These houses needed to be sold because they were not getting any better. They had some structural and problems. You were so upset that those two, excuse me, are you listening to me now, or are you interrupting me?
You know, I raised you, and I brought you up, and I gave you everything that you...
Do I get to finish the sentence?
Really
Do you
hurt.
get to listen? Do you ever listen?
Go ahead.
You went to have these treatments. You needed the money. You needed the money for this. These houses needed to be sold because they were not getting any better. They had some structural and problems that needed to be taken care of.
But ma'am, I've also read here, I mean, in your thing saying that you refused to revoke the power of attorney. And so do you still think you need to have control of his signature?
Don't you think if he's dying of cancer, somebody needs to have control? There are 100 properties there.
My mind is clear. I can take care of my affairs.
So you're saying the fact that he has cancer and he may die, that's why you should keep the power of attorney?
Yes.
No way.
Who else should have it? Who else should have it? A bank could have it.
Are you the only, is she your only child?
Yes.
She's your only child. And you have no wife?
No, my wife passed away several years ago.
Okay, and
I'm the executrix of the estate.
And you're the executor of the estate.
Mm-hmm.
That can be changed.
Tell me about your health condition. Well, I don't know if we can. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, can he change the will, even though you have power of attorney? Because power of attorney, what that means is that she can sign your name on anything. And she can sign your name on checks. She can sign your name on selling houses. She can go in there and sign your name away on everything. And you could be left with nothing.
I could be destitute.
You could be, yeah. She can go in there with, now that she has this power of attorney, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. When you sign a power of attorney, you're giving that person authority to sign your name on anything, and she is refusing to revoke it. And
well, that's why I'm asking you to revoke it, Your Honor.
Right. I know you must be frustrated. That's why you've had to come here. Tell me about your health condition.
Well, the treatment in Mexico seems to have put the cancer in remission, and it may have worked. So I could be around here for a good long time.
Ma'am, he says, I hope so. Ma'am, he says that he's getting better. Is there anything about his mental that you're claiming that he's losing his mental abilities?
Well, I'm not quite sure that what the information that the doctors gave him is the same information that the doctors gave me. And I know he would like to think that this is working and that he's in remission, but I'm hesitant to question that diagnosis. And the fact that he trusted me for years with this business and to make decisions and to do all the accounting and all the bookkeeping. Then he goes away. I make a decision about 2 houses that I don't want to bother him with because he's not well and having treatments.
But I was still working, and I wasn't away, and I could counteract anything you did. I leave the country, and then you take my business out from under me.
So what makes you think all of a
It's not just the 2 houses. Tomorrow you could go and sell his other 100, and there's nothing he could do. So I'll be back in a sec with my decision. Thank you. Thank you. Big Sugar Ray, hand me her evidence, please. What do you got there, the power of attorney?
I have the power of attorney and the sales contracts.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I had reviewed the power of attorney earlier, and sir, she must have paid, I don't know if it's your money or her money, but she must have paid a lot of money for an attorney to draw this up because it is ironclad. She got in there and had the ability to do anything of yours, and she must have paid a lot of money for this because it's covered all, dotted his I's and crossed his T's. But the question is, on revoking the power of attorney, the only thing I got to find is that you are competent, that
Absolutely.
you are able to handle your estate and handle your own business, and I find that you are. And so So even though she had this ironclad power of attorney, you did the right thing by coming to me because I can revoke this. So you know
Thank
what?
you.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
And just so I dot my I's and cross my T's, make her sign this revocation of power of attorney too, so she don't say she just lost that power of attorney. And Sugar Ray, you make her sign that right now.
So when things go in the other direction, he can come to this court and you're going to take care of him, right?
I find he's competent. I found for him, so you sign it or you're in contempt of court.
I can take care of myself, Your Honor.
I believe you, sir. I believe you. All right. Sir, you now have control of all your houses, of all your money. I'll give you a copy of this. You could take it to all the banks that have the power of attorney. You could take it to everyone. Everything is back to you. It's now all your money. I can't do anything about the 2 houses she sold, but if it is a joint account, like she says, you can go there tomorrow, and I'd take this, and I'd get your money out tomorrow.
That's what
all
I
right,
wanna
that's
do.
justice. Thank you. So you're saying she came on your property?
Hey, this isn't the first time. There's times I was taking a shower and I looked in the window and she's there looking in the window.
Oh, come on, Dad. Were you looking through his window at him taking a shower?
No.
She comes over all the time.
No.
She's like,
So you're saying she came on your property?
hey, this isn't the first time. There's times I was taking a shower and I looked in the window and she's there looking in the window.
Plaintiff is suing her neighbor for $2,778 for medical bills. Defendant claims nothing would have happened if she had stayed out of his property.
All right, Ms. Schofield, you are suing Jack Zimmerman for $2,778 for hospital bills you suffered when you got burnt. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, tell me your case.
Well, it was the night after New Year's Eve, and I was out on my own property, and I guess this man came out, I don't know what he came out to do. I thought he was lighting a cigarette. And all of a sudden this rocket or whatever it was comes flying at me. Look at my hand. It burned my hand.
So he launched a rocket at you?
Yes.
What did you shoot at her?
Okay, well, first of all, it was New Year's Eve, day after. You know, do you party on New Year's Eve? I know I do. You know, so I'm partying within the confines of my property.
Right.
And she just happens to stumble over, as she normally does, being nosy. And yeah, you got burned, and it was my property.
What did you shoot at her? Was it fireworks?
Oh, I didn't shoot it at her. I was just having fun. She just happened to kind of walk in the way of it.
So you're saying she was in your yard, and you're saying you were in your own yard?
I was on my own property.
So, and what was it that you shot? Was it a bottle rocket?
Something like that, yeah. There's lots of them that night, so I don't remember. But
And so this thing, do you have medical bills?
I do have medical
Okay,
bills.
Big Sugar Ray, hand me those. And what are those pictures of?
But those are pictures of my hand.
Okay.
And the
So do you
suffering
admit
that I went
shooting the
through.
bottle rocket?
Oh, I do, but yes, it was in my yard. Maybe
So you're saying
if you would have stayed on your own property, then maybe that wouldn't have
I
happened
was
to you.
on my own property.
So you're saying she came on your property?
Hey, this isn't the first time. There's times I was taking a shower and I looked in the window and she's there looking in the window.
Oh, come on, Ed. Were you looking through his window at him taking a shower?
No.
She comes over all the time.
No,
She's
I've
like
never
Mrs.
gone
Kravitz.
on his
She's nosy.
property. I've never gone on his property. Why would I? He's obnoxious.
Okay, she says she's never been on your property. So you're okay. Let me get this straight.
This was the day
let me look
after
at these.
New
Let me look
Year's.
at these
This was not
burns.
New Year's Eve. This was the night after New Year's.
That's a pretty substantial burn. Have you seen these pictures?
No.
Have you even offered to apologize to her?
No.
Well, she shouldn't really been on my property. She's always on my property, coming over.
And you can afford a $2 million house and you won't even pay her hospital bill? I mean, you admit you did it, right?
Yeah, but like I said, if she would have stayed on her property and quit being like Mrs. Kravitz.
Well, his point is you were trespassing. And then I see a hospital bill for $2,778. Are you going to have permanent damage?
Yes, I have permanent damage.
You have permanent damage?
Yes, look at that finger. I won't even straighten up anymore.
Let me ask you something. How many people were at your party?
I don't know, 100? I mean, about. I mean,
Okay, you had 100 people at your party, and you knew this case was coming forward, and you couldn't bring one person forward to say she was on your property and that's why she got burnt? I don't think you're credible at all. I don't believe your story. I think she would have been the only witness in her case. She doesn't have any other witnesses. You had 100 people that could have came here to testify. So my verdict, ma'am, is for you in the amount of $2,778. Big Sugar Ray. Give him a pen. You write out a check to Agnes Schofield for $2,778. All right, Big Sugar Ray, hand it to Miss Schofield.
Alrighty. $5,778.
But, ma'am, you got a $2 million house. You can, $5,000 to you probably isn't anything. What you brought him here for was to make sure that he understands the pain you've been through. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, sir.
And to understand that when you do harm to someone, there's responsibility here. And I don't think this man understands that.
I don't think he does either.
So I think he needs to learn what it's like to have a burn. Don't you? Big Sugar Ray, I think this man needs to learn a lesson, and I think this lady came here for one reason, and that is to make sure he learns a lesson. So let's take him outside and make him walk on hot coals. Take him on out.
All right. Come on, come on.
Quickly.
Nosy.
Burn, baby, burn.
Come on, take it. What? And feel some of the pain she felt.
Come on, burn.
So I think he needs to learn what it's like to have a burn. Don't you? Big Sugar Ray, I think this man needs to learn a lesson, and I think this lady came here for one reason, and that is to make sure he learns a lesson. So let's take him outside and make him walk on hot coals. Take him on out. Big Sugar Ray, you there?
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
All right, you test that coal to make sure it's hot?
It's steaming out here. I can see it. It's burning real hot. I want him to feel some of the pain she felt.
Okay. All right, sir. Mr. Zimmerman,
I can do this.
I need you to realize that what happened to her is a serious matter, so I want you to feel a little bit what she feels every day.
All right. Come on, come on.
Quickly.
Nosy.
Burn, baby, burn.
Come on, take
Burn.
it. And feel some of the pain she
Come
felt.
on, burn,
feel some
baby,
of the pain
burn.
she felt.
You nosy.
Hey. Eye for an eye.
All right.
Burn for a burn.
How do you think it's feel?
Sir, if you give this lady any more trouble, you're going to have to deal with even more pain in my court, okay? So listen, I want you to lay off her, and I want y'all to be nice neighbors to each other. Now, that's justice. In today's second case, it dealt when someone accidentally caused injury to someone. In tort law, that is called negligence. And if that happens, you have a civil case. You can recover for all your damages. So, if someone accidentally injures you, don't get revenge, bring them to my court.